Welcome to the Monday Morning Wake Up Call with your host, Kerry, managing broker at Remax Elite, and Heather Holiday, your social marketing nut, talking about hottest real estate topics with a little weekly activity and motivation for the week. Good morning.
Happy Monday.
Yes.
Trying to get my computer all up and going. So hopefully I've got all the pages so I can see who's chatting and talking to us. So if you're watching, please chime in. Let us know where you're watching from and if you did your vision board. So I asked that because I was very excited this weekend. I was working a little bit yesterday. I downloaded this app.
I think your vision board is prettier than it was last year, though. So.
Oh, do you?
I do. It's very.
Yeah, pretty. It is pretty, isn't it? I really like it. So I was in yesterday at the office for a little bit, and I downloaded this app where I could put in all the names of the people that they did their homework, and then you press, whatever, and it randomly picks a name. So I was super excited to do that. Come to find out,
can't really use the app.
I can use the app, but hang on, let me figure out how to do this. Nope, that's not it. Nope, that wasn't it.
Karen's still here. She's still in Satellite Beach. I bet it's a lot warmer over there than it is right now because it's 40 degrees where I am at. I'm kind of cold.
And when I tested it yesterday, it worked great. And it is actually working great now, except for it won't let somebody win twice. And we only have one person who posted their homework. So congratulations, Karen, man. You win the $50 gift card to Amazon.
And Karen doing it. And we use the same template on Canva too.
And kudos to Karen who did it right away. Like she did it right after our broadcast last week. So that was exciting. And yes, you guys did use the same template. And yes, and you say, so I went through this whole thing last week about how I thought my template was too pretty, and then I stopped looking at it and noticing it. And maybe it's too pretty this year. I posted it, so hopefully all y'all can see. I think it's pretty, but not as pretty like the colors of it or something. I don't know. And well, here's the thing. So if you notice, if you look at the lower bottom and you see the one that says work and it's upside down and people are like, why is it upside down? Are you trying to, send some sort of message? No, when I made it, any picture that I put in that one little, I'll call it a beehive because it's like a little beehive looking thing, it would turn that picture upside down. So I just went with
how to drag it to the right side up.
I couldn't figure that out. So
when you click on the image, you're going to see like this little, arrow.
Oh, and then I can change it and turn around.
Drag it.
Okay, I'll fix it after this.
Know.
I'll fix it after this. So anyway, so if you haven't done your vision board, it's I know it seems goofy or it seems stressful or it seems, I don't know, all of those things, right?
I thought it was juvenile the first time we did it. I really, really, really did.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, I don't know. It's less messy doing it on Canva. And maybe when, I know when we do this live and everyone has, whether their phone, I can't do Canva on my phone. My old eye.
No, I have to do it from the desktop.
But it's super easy. And if you go to our website, I have a link. And it takes you like Canva, you just do vision board and all these templates and you open it up and then you just go onto Google. And that's the good thing I like about doing it digitally is because you can just go to Google. It's not like you're publishing, worried about copyright. It's just for you to print for yourself.
Right.
Go and Google the different images and you find it. Whereas when we had magazines, I mean, oh my gosh, what a mess. And we had all these magazines and you're just going through
scissors and glue and markers and
trying to find
trash.
something that looks relatively close to what
Yep.
you're actually looking for. And I just like being able to go to Google, GPS, find it, save it.
Well, and we have the pro version at the office. So the pro version gives you so many more selections. And I would just type in what I was looking for, and then it gave a bunch of choices for pictures. So it was super easy. And if you're hesitant to post it, I promise you, no one is judging you. Nobody is thinking about you that much that they're looking at your vision board. People are really just going to say, wow, that's super awesome that you did it. Nobody is judging you. So just post it as Heather says, for the accountability portion of it. You know, accountability.
I mean, it is hard to like put it out there, right? But that's where I feel it almost makes it it's accountability thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm putting this out there. I want to be able to, at the end of the year, like I knocked all this off, even though there's some things that have been on there a couple times, but
yeah, no, I definitely have some repeats on there, and I have some new stuff. And it was interesting because like you and Karen did one where you put the words that kind of went with the pictures. And I went back and forth about that, about whether I should put words or just pictures. And I just stuck with pictures because I know what those mean to me. Right. So that's the other thing. Like they don't have to mean anything to anybody else. I have a picture in there that I'm sure people are like, what is that about? And it just reminds me of certain goals that I'm wanting to achieve. So yeah.
Visual. I think I like the words, although I think everyone sees the empty nester with a condo and think that's me moving into a condo. And it's like, no, that's the kids going to an apartment. Yeah. The other part where it says RV park or, that the mountains, that's my part. Like, but I can't move until the kids get out.
Right.
Because neither of them qualify to buy the house. If they could have the house, with the animals and all of our toys until we figured out where we're going. But
right. So to all of you procrastinators, please go and do your vision board. I promise you, it will help you all year long, keeping focused and keeping
print it out, put it somewhere you're going to see it every single day. It's that visual. I think seeing it almost kind of puts it into action. And then there's something so gratifying when you see these, basically goals and you have that visualization. And when you've done that, there's something so satisfying about that. I mean, it's like
for sure
a checklist because they're not little things. They're kind of big things. So it's super nice accountability, seeing it, the visual part of it. I know at first I thought it was kind of silly to do it, but that has been like a game changer, adding that element into our business planning. So
yeah, I totally agree.
Give it a try.
And I promise you, it's way more fun than the homework and the stuff we're going to talk about this week.
Yeah, that's the fun stuff. This stuff here, woo!
And I get it.
Like, not fun.
Business planning business planning can be painful. I mean, it just can. So, here's our theme: dream big, work hard, make it happen. If you dream big and then you work hard, it's going to happen. So let's get right into it. And here we go. Know your numbers. Oh, painful. So we need to look at your expenses. First, we would start with personal expenses. So what's your food? What's your groceries? What's your general household? What's your homeowner's insurance? We put a few to, get you started. You might just put general household might be just all of your utility bills. It may include your mortgage, or maybe it doesn't include your mortgage. Maybe you're going to pay off your mortgage this year. So you want that to be in a separate line, so it's easy to delete it next year when you do this. What other things in my household? Car payments, lawn care,
stuff like that. I know the food and groceries or entertainment, that was always kind of eye-opening when I actually saw how much on average I spent a month going out to eat.
Yes.
How much I saved and how much weight loss I had by just learning how to cook. And plus,
yes.
I mean, the good thing is that nobody delivers, to cow country. So
right.
I kind of had to, if I wanted to any fast food, it was like an hour round trip drive. So Okay, I guess I'm going to learn how to cook. And I actually enjoy it. And it was mind blowing how much weight I lost without putting any effort into that. So it kind of served two
Right?
purposes. And I actually enjoy it. And I kind of like my cooking more than my husband's. And he always had to cook because if it was my night, it was Domino's. And he, he's from Jersey, so he hates Domino's or all of that. He wants those big pie, the ones that I have to take like paper towels and just absorb all the grease that I can't stand. Like I look at it and I just get pimples or something. But that's the pie he likes. Those big, the old. I don't know.
Right.
I like my stuffed crust and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I was surprised at how much I spent eating out, and I guess it just isn't something that I thought about. But we ate out probably 4 times a week.
Yeah.
Fast food and stuff. So
well, currently we're eating out a lot because my oven doesn't work, so just the stove. So we are relegated to only stove stuff, and I'm struggling because I need.
Happy birthday!
Oh, happy birthday, Susan! I'm relegated to cooking only stuff that's on the stove, and I'm struggling because I need new appliances, but I'm also going to redo the kitchen this year. And I can't decide if I should just get the appliances and then when it comes time for the redo of the kitchen, just, move the appliances, or if I should just suffer with no oven. But as we're talking about expenses, that's costing me more money because we're eating out more.
And I mean, really should be doing the grill or something like that.
Right.
I mean,
so Karen, it's funny, Karen, that's a great question because I don't have that situation. So I just do it all for me because I got to pay for it all. Right. I would say whichever you prefer. So in your instance, look, I was talking to one of our agents the other day and she said, we have always lived only. I've thought about that, Gabriella, getting a toaster oven. I don't like to spend money frivolously. So my thought is, if I'm not going to use the toaster oven longer than 6 months, then I feel like that's a waste of money. Actually, and Janine, I have an air fryer at my mother's house. I just need to go across the backyard and
I was going to say, it's not that far. It's literally your backyard.
I'll go get the air fryer today. That's at least I can start with that. Anyway, so back to the expenses and Karen. So I was talking to an agent the other day in our office, and she was saying, that her whole career, her husband's salary paid all of their expenses and her money was extra. So she wouldn't need to do this in her case. So I think it just depends on what your situation is, because the purpose of figuring out what your personal expenses are is you need to determine how much you need to make to pay your personal expenses. And then we determine what your business expenses are and how much you need to make to pay those. And then you set your goal obviously higher than that.
And Karen, for me, it's like my husband and I, we don't even bank at the same bank.
Oh, yeah.
We take our main, not our toys or cars or anything. That's all separate. But our main household bills, we have a spreadsheet and we split it in half. But because I include him in my vision, our goals and stuff, I do include the entire household. That part of it, I do include him in it because we're really working together when it comes to the goal setting, just so we have the extra money, like, here's what we want to do. So it's, he kind of has his job. So we have benefits and all of that kind of stuff. But really it's, I do include, even though everything's separate, I like him to be involved, especially in this part, because the food and going out, entertainment, or camping, all of that just, it's both of us doing it.
Right.
We want him to be involved when it comes to the goal setting and creating that roadmap is, but I think it's just up to you and, how you want to do that. There's no right or wrong. It's correct. Knowing those numbers is where it's super crucial.
Correct. And so, some other things to add on. I have one kid in college and one a senior in high school. So what are those kids costing me? What is, college tuition costing me? What is, he's in the band. What is band costing me? Because we all know that these extracurricular activities that our children are involved in are added expenses. So just make sure that you are kind of, looking at your bank account, looking at everything you spend money on and put it into a category. You can either lump them all together or like general household, that could be everything. Or put them separately depending on what feels right for you, for
Absolutely.
sure.
And there's no real right or wrong. It's knowing your numbers so that, at the end we can create that roadmap. So it's
Yeah.
just knowing what you're spending and stuff like that. Same thing when it comes to your business, and what you're spending on for your business, whether you're in coaching, different marketing tools and all of this stuff. And where this is important, it's never fun going through those numbers, but I always find every year I've signed up for something and then I realize I don't end up using it, but I forgot that I'm, subscribed to it, or, here's another $200 a year that, oh my gosh, I haven't used it in 2 years, but I'm paying for it. I was paying for my son's gaming. I don't even know what I was paying for, but I'm like, oh, no. You put that on yours now. Like, you're 21.
Yeah.
Like, mom's
Right.
not paying for that. I realized going through this that I was paying for YouTube Premium, whatever Red, I don't even know. So there's no commercials and all of that. And I was like, I get commercials. It's not me. And it's on him. So apparently I've been paying for that since he started gaming at like 11 and said he wanted this. So I'm like,
Yep.
You need to change this to your credit card, not mine.
This morning when I got up, and sometimes in the morning I watch shows that I like when I have like by myself, super early morning, and I was watching something on YouTube TV. And then I started thinking about what are all the TV channels that I'm paying for that I need to get rid of, but it's same thing with business. Like, are there things that I'm paying for? Like, I just got the renewal for Rate My Agent, which I'm going to renew, but it's, there's things like that. Rate My Agent. Are you paying for HomeSnap Premium? Are you paying for, I used to pay for my assistant's access for the Supra key, and then we realized she wasn't using it, so we canceled that. Those types of expenses. Are you paying for things that you're not using?
Right. Because I think we, especially at conventions, there's always different things. So by going through and itemizing and really going through what you're spending, I don't do it every month. I kind of do it once a year, but that's what really, it kind of opens my eyes into where I'm just spending frivolously and it's unnecessary. And it's, that's money I can put towards something else.
Right. And this is not really business expense, but it could be if you found a way to write it off as a business expense. But I've seen a lot of people traveling recently, and I saw several friends recently seem to have gone to Portugal, which is really appears to be a beautiful country. And so I put Greece on my vision board because that is like that's my dream vacation. But I was thinking about the cost of it, right? And I was like, I like to hang on to my money. So the thought of writing that check for a vacation in Greece, which I would suspect is going to be somewhere around 10 grand. I don't know. Like that whole thought is like, like I've been thinking about getting a new car. And like the thought of just writing that check is just like, I don't like that. I don't want to see my bank account go down.
Right. No, I hear that.
So, but anyway, go through your business expenses. Obviously, dues we have to pay. Coaching. Are you paying for coaching? And I mean, really now is the time we have a section for notes to really determine if you're getting out of whatever it is that you're paying for, and is it worth it? I have always said, I don't have to be the top producing person. I don't, and that works for some people. I don't have to be tops, because if it costs me more money to make that more money, which it will, if there's a point where you're spending more money and what you're making are getting too close together, then it doesn't make sense to spend that money. So if you're spending money on lead generation or whatever, and you're not reaping the benefits of it, then it's not worth it. So now's the time to kind of look at that.
Absolutely. I mean, always knowing that return on investment. So even if I think we all like to try different tools, systems that, we get referred or recommended. I do like to say, at least give it a shot for 6 months, but really put an effort into it. But if there's not that positive return, then it's time to, how can we tweak it? Can we adjust the price? What if I called them, would I get a discount? Always look at that return on investment to make sure that it's helping you work smarter, not harder, and there's a return on that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Okay, so some more then look at your marketing expenses, print advertising, online ads, direct mail, signage, promotional. Is it time, for new signs maybe? And then how many closed deals or appointments did you get from all of those marketing revenue sources?
Right. I mean, that's your pay-per-click. That's if you're doing Zillow, if anything that you're using to help you maybe prospect or anything like that, any marketing technology. I mean, always that's where that return on investment, is it resulting in closed sales or, conversations, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And if it's not, maybe it's time to look at something else. Maybe you've gotten stagnant with your business coach and maybe it's time to look at a different business coach, or maybe you're paying for a business coach and you're not doing the work. You're not putting in the work. So maybe now is the time to kind of look at yourself and say, hey, I really need to start doing the work that's involved with this so that I am getting the return on my investment.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you're paying for coaching and not, I mean, I know part of mine was like half therapeutic and the other half was homework, but the homework completely was eye-opening. And a lot of it was, I think this was my first session, was knowing my numbers.
Yeah.
And then getting organized and putting every single thing I did into, I think I used Evernote back then. Now I use Asana, but, if I was in a car accident, what needs to be done?
Yeah.
Kind of in that aspect, having the checklist for every single thing. So I mean, I never thought about that, but at least now I kind of have a backup plan. Like if something were to happen, this is what needs to go on.
Mm-hmm. So then we're going to do a recap and we're going to take your GCI and then you're going to plug in what your business expenses were from your homework and that'll give you your profit. And then how many closed transactions did you have? How many of those were listings? How many of those were buyers? How many appointments did you have? This is a lot. This is digging deep. So if you keep a good calendar, this is where it works, or maybe you keep a notebook, or I'm not sure what's right for you, but how many listing appointments did you go on and how many listings did you take? Did you go on 10 appointments and you got 10 listings? That's usually not the case unless you're mostly working your sphere. And if you're mostly working your sphere, usually your listings taken to appointments is greater than if you're doing online leads or some other kind of lead where you don't know people. Same thing with buyers. Then you need to figure out what your average commission per transaction was. And how many hours a week did you work? And how many hours a week were you prospecting? But when you figure out what your average commission per transaction is, then you can determine, and this may be on the next page, and I might be talking ahead of myself, but you can determine how many transactions you want to do next year, right? Based on how much money you want to make. Right. And I suspect, well, it'll be interesting to see if people's average commission per transaction has gone up since prices have gone up. Or has it maybe gone down a little bit? I don't know. It depends on what your situation is.
I mean, and I think it helps knowing from listing to buyer, because if you want to be a listing agent, but you see your buyers are doubled, it helps you know where to focus. When we're building that roadmap to success, we're probably going to put on more tasks that involve, listing prospecting kind of thing. So knowing that aspect ratio, I think just having this information is going to help you balance those out a little bit. And what can we do, for next year to balance that out or bring you to where you want to be.
Right. So then just digging in a little deeper so you really understand where your numbers are coming from or where your transactions are coming from. What was your total sales? What was your total sales volume? And what was your gross commission? And how many transactions was that? And how many appointments was that? And where were they coming from? Were they listers? Were they buyers? Were they referrals? Were they coming from other sources? So, there's plenty of room on this worksheet to, if it's coming from other places, write that down, but really measure and track where your business is coming from. because if the majority of them are coming from buyers and you really want to be working listings and sellers, then you're going to have to dig in deep when we get into the where you're going to spend your marketing time, into where you're going to spend your marketing time. What's going to bring you more sellers versus more buyers? What are you doing that's getting you more buyers versus more sellers? If that's the way you want to go. I mean, I have some friends who love the buyers. I like a nice balance, because I get, what's the word, burnt out sometimes by the buyers, and I got burnt out sometimes by the sellers. So if I keep it a nice mix of both, it usually just helps my mental well-being better.
It's like you have your history and then you have your future. So
yes,
based on once you dig deep and really pull out that information, you fill that out. Well, where do you want to be? Do you want that to be more balanced? Do you want to be have more listings? So this is, maybe, your positive return, maybe put more into X because it's giving you more. So when if you have referrals or that other source, if that's working, maybe you want to put more spend into that or more time,
right.
basis what's not working. Like, oh, I didn't get one actual closed deal from this money that I'm using. So maybe I'll cancel that, put that money towards what is working. So this is where the future comes in. Where do you want to be on that sales volume, gross, how many transactions, appointments, and then knowing that listing buyer referrals and the other sources, what needs attention, what can you cancel, put that money somewhere else, or time, energy, all that.
Well, and when you, just for argument's sake, say you did 200,000 in gross commission last year, you've determined how much per transaction you're making, and now you want to do $400,000 in gross commission. So now you got to figure out how much that sales volume is based on how much commission you're making transaction, and then you need to determine how many transactions will get you there. And that's the goal that you need to work towards. And then you have to decide again, do you want to do more buyers? Do you want to do more sellers? Are you needing to go on more appointments, or are you like a slam dunk when you go on that listing appointment and you don't need new appointments? So then you're going to, do your total annual expenses, and then your total annual aspirations. And then you're going to figure out what your required net revenue is.
And then put in like what's unacceptable what's the bottom line. So I always say reach big, dream big, but also have like, it's unacceptable for me to do less than X, and it should still be higher than what you've previously done, what your history is now.
Well, and here's the thing, dream big or aspire big or set your goals high, because you don't want to set your goals so that they're easily attained. You want to set your goals so that you're working hard, striving harder, doing better,
For me, it's, if somebody did the 200 and we put 400, I want them to put 500. And when they're writing that roadmap, I want them to think like somebody who's doing the 500, because that's what I want them to be putting on how they're going to prospect, how they're going to market. I want them to think like that 500. And if they end up doing 450, that's awesome.
Right.
But I want them to be in the mindset way higher. So because I feel that what they're going to put for the prospecting and that mapping part, I feel they're going to be thinking at a higher level instead of down here. I want them to think like, okay, so some agents that are doing that, what are they doing? And that's how we need to think, because I feel it's going to get us a lot closer. And, I'm dream big. And how do I reach this big number? And if I fall a little bit short, but I'm still doubling what I, I've done in the past, that's still a win.
For sure.
For me, it's that mentality.
For sure.
Dreaming big.
For sure. And like in your expenses, this is something that's on your vision board, retirement. Are you adding that into expenses? Are you planning how much you want to put away for retirement? And maybe do you want to increase that this year? Are you making so much money that you can dabble in the stock market a little bit? Are you making so much money that you want to save money and buy rental properties? I mean, I don't know what it is for you.
And everybody's different. So, I mean, Just
There's
definitely.
definitely no right or wrong. It's just you need to do what feels right for you. But I would just say set those goals high. Set those goals
Absolutely.
high. So you're going to do measure and tracking of your numbers, and then, which is just not the most fun thing of this event. Let me just say that.
But it is probably the most crucial because
It
you
is.
should know your numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's
Yeah.
not the most fun by far.
Yep.
It's the most. So really the homework using the hashtag is kind of finding a meme or a little Giphy that kind of, I think they're always kind of crazy ones that I post. What is it like doing this homework? Is it eye-opening? Is it
Right.
you know your numbers, you have your spreadsheets, you got this? What does it feel like to actually do this homework? So you're not posting, numbers, just kind of how it feels to actually know your numbers. So in that process of it. So it's a very fun homework post.
The post is fun.
Maybe not the
Homework may
homework
not be.
itself, but it is really it's a crucial step in being able to set up that roadmap because you really should know your numbers, and it's very eye-opening when you dig deep and be able to write that roadmap. So
For sure.
that's pretty
For
much all I
sure.
have to say. So what's our weekly activity? I think is what we just
Yeah.
said.
So know your numbers, do your homework, fill in those numbers. This will help you to build your roadmap to success.
And then the words of wisdom is basically, if you can't measure it, you can't track it.
Yep.
And I mean, and that's so true. So that's why the numbers are so important. So make sure to post that so you have a chance, just it's easy. Post homework, but do your homework for sure. Post, a photo, tag us in it, and your chance, so we need Kerry to be able to use that cool app she found. So
I know. So that you can win a
use
gift
the
card
hashtag.
next year. So do that fun post because I want to use that app and do this wheel spinner and see
Yes.
fun.
Yes. So do that. And then until next week, wake up, kick ass, and repeat. Bye, everyone.